Hey gang, it's Kara and Dobie Joe. I think that I should start beginning all these videos with me chewing on something. Both of us will just be chewing on something. You can hand me a cookie and I'll hand you a piece of chicken. How about that? Today we're going to learn our C chord. I'm really excited about this. The C chord is the most fun chord in the world to play. Okay, I'm kind of stretching the truth a little bit there. C chord is the one chord that most of my students have a lot of trouble with. So I have devised, over all the years of teaching, I've devised some methods that I'm going to show you on the next page, 56, that will make your C chord work for you, unlike anything you've ever seen. All right? We're going to break it down. So your C chord, if you look at the top of page 55, right? 55? Yes, 55. It shows you how to play that C chord. First finger, second finger, third finger. Your root note is underneath your third finger right there. That's a C note right there. That is your C note, and this is your C chord. Okay? Remember about root notes? Root notes are the single note that starts the whole chord out. The whole chord is built from that single note, and that's where we start our strum when we strum it. Okay? Now you'll notice when I play my C chord one string at a time like that, you can really hear each one of those strings ring out nice and clear. That's because I'm up on my fingertips and I've got my thumb in really good position, right? It's back here and it's really squeezing nice and hard. So that thumb muscle's got a little burn to it right now. A lot of times I think when I do these videos for me, you get to see my 10-year-old habits. Because I started when I was 10 and I didn't have an instructor. I taught myself, and so I learned a lot of weird habits. I had to relearn a lot of things as I became a teacher, okay? So do as I say and not as I do. All right, so your C chord, one thing that will help is make sure you're up on the high side of your frets and that you're up on your fingertips and your thumb is in the position of the back of the neck and it's working that muscle really nice and firmly, okay? Dobie Joe, do you want to abandon this so quickly or do you want to come back up for another treat? Now, we're going to practice going from our C to our G chord because we're going to do that a lot. When you play your G chord, which you've already learned, you've got these two fingers in this position with each other like so, okay? When you go to your C chord, they get to stay in that same alignment with each other. They just fall back and spread out a little bit. So one of the first things I want you to do is work on just these two fingers shifting from where they need to be on the G chord to where they need to be on the C chord, like that. Practice those two fingers and moving from your G position to your C position. The next thing you're going to do when you go from a G to a C is this third finger right here is going to shift from your first string all the way over to the third fret of your A string, like that. So when I change from my G to my C, all that happens at the same time. That's not going to happen for you for a little while. You got to practice it in steps, and then slowly but surely you'll be able to put all those steps together and it'll be one fluid movement, okay? But you've got to practice this back and forth, and you've got to practice this one, putting that third finger from there to there, back and forth. Practice those things slowly, okay? All right, we're going to strum 4 G chords, and they're going to strum 4 C chords, nice and slowly together. 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, and shift everything, and there's your C chord. 2, 3, 4, and then we go back and we do it again. Now I would like for you to practice this exercise that we're doing right now at the bottom of the page as slowly as you need to with a metronome, okay? And you need to set that metronome really, really slowly so that you can get all those changes in. All right, now on to my madness. This is a method that I developed many years ago when I kept seeing my students having problems with their C chords. What we're going to do in exercise 1 here on page 56 or 57 or 58, 56, is we're going to practice going from a G chord to that A minor 7 chord that you know so well. All right? Now if you look at it, that's that same thing I was just telling you to do. You practice these two fingers from here back to here. And if you strum those 5 strings, that's your A minor 7 chord, okay? So what you want to do is use your metronome and play as slowly as you need to so that after you've strummed the 4th G chord, without breaking rhythm, you've got your A minor 7 down. Okay? And after that, you want to practice going back to the G, and you want to practice that over and over again until going from a G chord to an A minor 7 is really easy for you. Okay? Now, I say that because A minor 7, those are the first two fingers in your C chord. That's why you're practicing it again. All right? Now, exercise number 2, I've given you a C major 7 chord. C major 7 is the C I'm talking to you about without the first finger down, so it sounds real jazzy. Okay? Major 7th chords always sound really jazzy. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go G 4 times, and then our C major 7, just back and forth, and we're going to develop the muscle memory between these two fingers now. Okay? So let's do that. Just quickly go between the G and the C major 7. I want you to do this over and over again though, right? Remember? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to strum your G 4 times. 2, 3, 4, and then you go to C major 7. 2, 3, 4, and then back to your G. 2, 3, 4, and then your C major 7. Am I putting you to sleep? 3, 4, and you're going to continue that exercise over and over again until it feels comfortable for you. Now remember, gang, it's really important to go slowly enough to make sure your fingers are going in exactly the right place. It's also extremely important on this page to make sure you're using the fingers that I want you to use. You play a G and then you go to C major 7. A lot of you think, well, why don't I just take these two fingers and go down? Well, that's not the point of this. The point is getting used to your C chord, and if you switch those fingers around, you're going to get used to making that switch that's going to take you to your C chord. Okay? All right, so make sure you're using your second and your third finger on that C major 7 chord. Okay, exercise number 3. I show a picture of you holding your nose because it's kind of like a non-existent chord, but it's good to practice. You're always going to find when you're switching from one chord to another, if you're having trouble, there's usually two fingers that don't want to cooperate with each other. And if you can isolate all the different fingers that are working together and figure out which two are not liking each other, and you work on those two, you can fix the whole chord real fast. Okay? Now, I noticed with a lot of my students, it's the first finger and the third finger that don't like to work together on this C chord. So, hear what that sounds like? It sounds like nothing. It sounds like trash, right? That's why Dobie Jo's holding her nose in that cartoon there. But you're going to practice it anyway. We're going to practice our G by playing it 4 times, and then we're going to play that C trash chord, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the C trash chord. 2, 3, 4, and you want to do this slowly enough to where your fingers go exactly where you want them to go. I get tired of hearing myself say that, but I know most of my students, I have to say it about 20 times sometimes before they hear it. Okay? So exercise 3 is going to sound really funky to you, but do it anyway. You want to come back up for a bone? Well, come on, all the way up. Come on, up, come on. Exercise 4 is the same thing, except you're putting all of those elements together to form your C chord. So the whole crux of page 56 is to teach you the different sections of the C, practice them separately, learn which fingers aren't cooperating with each other, and teach them to work as a team. And then the whole chord will come together for you. All right? Now, we kind of went over that page quickly, but this is a page that you're going to have to spend a lot of time on. All right? Let's go ahead and go to page 57 and finish this lesson up today. We've got all of our C to G changes with the different strumming patterns. When we get down to line 5 or exercise 5, we're going to incorporate our D chord into this too. Let's see what we want to set this at. You know, I think I'm going to leave it right here on about 66 or 68, and we're going to use that tick as eighth notes. So when we play exercise 1, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, every other tick. Okay? I'm going to play from exercise 1 all the way to the bottom of the page at the end of exercise 5 without stopping. And I'm going to do every exercise 2 times, okay? Play along with me. If I'm playing it too quickly for you, you need to back it down to around 48 and play it at a speed that you can do it. And then what? Slowly speed up. Here we go. Line 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and C. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go back to the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and C. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We're going to go right into exercise 2. 3, 4, and exercise 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 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 back to the beginning of line 2. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and C. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and exercise 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 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 back to the beginning of 3. 2, 3, and 4, and 1. You can do this. You can be patient with yourself. 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and you can thank me later. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Line 4. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 repeat exercise 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 exercise 5. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 2, and 3. We're on the last line. 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Here comes your D chord. 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 2, and guess what? We get to do the whole thing again. Here we go. 4 and 1. Good job. 2 and 3. Put the dog to sleep. 4 and 1. 2 and 3. 4. Here comes C and 1. 2 and 3. 4 and 1. 2 and 3. 4 and last line. 1, 2 and 3. 4 and 1. 2 and 3. Here comes that D chord. And 1, 2 and 3. 4 and 1. 2 and 3. 4 and... Okay. That felt like forever, didn't it? You know what, though? It is so worth doing. It is so worth doing. And even my most advanced students need to go back and do things like that every now and then. Okay, thanks for having patience with yourself. Thanks for taking the time to go through all these with me. You're really laying down a really strong foundation by doing all this stuff crazy stuff, really boring stuff that I'm asking you to do. And again, like I said, in the middle of all that, you'll thank me later. If you lay the groundwork down like we're trying to lay it down right now, you're going to be such a strong guitar player when you start playing the fast stuff. It makes all the difference in the world. Okay, that's the whole reason I wrote this book, is to slow everybody down and break those little elements down into the tiniest little bits and slow everybody down on their process so we can lay a really good foundation for what's to come. Okay, thanks so much for hanging out with me and Dobie Joe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.